Peace world, my name is Substantial and this is Anatomy of a Verse, where I break down verses line for line for all you lyric lovers out there. So this week we're gonna focus on my verse from the song Say Less, produced by Funky DL featuring Precious Joubert, and it's from my project that's out right now called We Met in Tokyo. So if you wanna check out the song uninterrupted without the breakdown, be sure to click the link in the description. But first, take a minute to subscribe to my channel and make sure you hit that like button. And if you're feeling generous, consider making a donation via the super chat, super thanks. You could become a patron, or you could check out one of the links in the banner below. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Say less. Who am I to talk? Actually, I'm paid to do just that. Yeah, so out the gate. Right where I say, who am I to talk? Actually, I'm paid to do just that. I've been a talkative dude my whole life. My folks have never wasted an opportunity to pick with me about it. So over time, I figured out how to get paid to do that, whether it was rapping, whether it was live presentations, you know. So the title Say Less basically is meant to be kind of ironic to the people who know me personally.
Hit them with just facts, true, ugly as muskrat.
Hey, have you seen a muskrat? I mean, have you really seen a muskrat? They kind of look like beavers, but with a rat tail.
Spin in the lab, just cooking up tracks, tight lip for a nice bit. This ain't a comeback, it's Ong Bak. I'm Jai Tony with beats and flows instead of knees and bows, but there's no need to boast.
Yeah, so Tony Jai, for those who don't know, Tony Jai is a martial artist and actor who became popular in the movie Ong Bak. His discipline is Muay Thai, which is known for like elbows and knee strikes. I'm Jai Tony with beats and flows. How I say his name backwards instead of saying Tony first and then Jai, because of the fact that in the DMV area where I'm from PG County, people, instead of saying kinda, a lot of times we say Jai. So like I say, I'm kinda Tony, or I'm Jai Tony with beats and flows instead of knees and bows. So let's get into the next one. Let's see what we got.
Don't need my ego stroke, my track record's my interpreter.
When I say my track record's my interpreter, it's basically saying I try to let my work speak for itself.
Good with supporters, y'all be thirsting for the worshipers. Namaste.
I feel like nowadays some artists are like borderline zealots when it comes to certain things. I feel like they attract fans who are following them blindly, and that's not the type of audience I'm looking to attract. And you know, the term Namaste in Sanskrit, it simply means like, it's a respectful way of saying like hello or goodbye, often used in yoga as well, like I bow to you.
I'ma play my role like Maharshla.
Hey, so shout out to Maharshla Ali. He's a black Oscar-winning actor, played Cottonmouth in Luke Cage, playing Blade in the future of the MCU. Super dope actor. If you're not familiar with his work, you should definitely check him out.
No impact without an act, get the working, bro.
Some simple wordplay. You literally can't make an impact without some kind of act, and then you literally can't have the word impact without the word act in it.
Turn it up the moment I said less, my stream is spiked.
To date, I've accumulated like over 18 million streams on Spotify. That's not including any of the new Joubert collabs, not including most of the collaborations I've done my whole career. Nearly 15 million of those streams have literally came in the last 4 years of my career. The biggest difference is I started releasing my production to the public, and that's part of the reason why I saw this huge boost in streams. So the moment I said less, the moment I stopped rapping as much and started focusing on the beats, my streaming spiked.
Earned enough, but I can't exit till my team is right. Everyone's a boss, they ain't paying nobody. Everyone's a gangster, but they ain't no Gotti.
Boss is probably one of the most overused terms in hip hop nowadays. People who have no employees, no staff, no evidence of them ever paying anyone to actually do a job for their business. Unless you count them paying DistroKid, they ain't really nobody's boss. If you haven't figured this out yet, a good amount of rappers clearly over-exaggerate in order to sound harder than they are on track. And then sometimes they are mimicking the lives of people around them rather than be their authentic self.
Everybody say they know the code, but they straight snitching. Everybody know a lot, but they actually say different.
You hear that all the time, like, oh, you talking to the feds, you snitching, you doing this, you doing like people critique folks for doing that all the time. But the crazy thing is, there have literally been trials and their own lyrics have been used against them in trial. So stop snitching. I find it ironic because it's like, it seems like dudes don't even take their own advice.
Need a comment. don't need a light. Everyone don't need an audience. And every open mouth don't need a mic. Say left.
That chorus is basically saying, you know, not everything that's out here requires a response. And you know, I'll go a step further. I'm pretty sure most of y'all got that from the hook. So not everything needs a breakdown either, but here we are. Absolutely, everybody got the right to their opinion, but how you feel about something sometimes doesn't outweigh actual facts. I feel like we get caught up so much in our emotions and how we feel, and we're so passionate about a particular thing that because we feel a certain way, we don't have to do any real research, being objective, not just looking for content to kind of uphold what you believe in, but actually weighing both sides of the argument. But everybody feel like their opinion hold weight even when they talking about stuff they really have no business talking about because they haven't done the work.
Ain't what you know, it's what you do. Let the work you put in be the proof. Say less. You ain't gotta tell me that you're real. In time, everything will be revealed. Say less.
We've all come across folks who are very knowledgeable about certain subjects, but sometimes those people like struggle and fail to apply what they've learned to their life. There's something that Bruce Lee says that basically inspired that whole part of the song, which is knowing is not enough, we must apply. Willing is not enough, we must do.
I ain't gotta tell you follow my drip, but it's a race to the top. Many opt for a lift. Wanna tell you about they drive and hope you offer a tip. Then turn around and act like you ain't come along for the trip.
I love dealing with metaphors sometimes that's not as obvious to people who are passive listeners. So those bars basically address like the relationships we have with our peers who have similar goals. And I use the car metaphor to describe our drive and the struggle that comes along with the journey.
But you were there for they were talking they shit and showboating, just floating with no wind in they sails, no motion.
Those next two bars deal with the same type of theme, but then switch from car references to like boat references to keep the journey metaphor going.
Illusionist, Penn and Teller, I can pin it better.
Refers to the famous magicians Penn and Teller. I can pin it better, you know, like just kind of making the play off of one of their names being Penn.
Broke as fuck at the ball, damn you slipping Cinderella.
Basically, it's a metaphor based on the Cinderella story. She was from poverty, attended a ball filled with the elite where she met her Prince Charming. That whole damn you slipping part, it's a play on her losing her actual slipper at the ball. The line is a metaphor for folks who be on that fake it till you make it type of thing, you know?
Just an image seller, stock photos, they are not thorough.
It feel like nowadays some labels and artists, and even in the past, have been more focused on selling an image rather than music. It's almost like their websites, right? Selling these generic images like stock photos as opposed to real timeless work or masterpieces, you know what I mean?
Claim to be the realest ever, who gon' vouch for you? Not a soul, your own people hardly believe you. We see more than we hear and you saying more than you need to.
We hear rappers oftentimes claim that they're the realest, but then backtrack in interviews, often saying things like it's just entertainment when they get confronted about some of the lines that they say. And I think that most people who are objectively listening to this music know that. But a lot of times when folks are younger in particular, they really don't know that some of these artists are really pushing fictionalized versions of their stories and themselves, you know what I mean?
Everyone's a boss, they ain't paying nobody. Everyone's a gangster, but they ain't no gotti. Everybody say they know the code, but they straight snitching. Everybody know a lot, but they actually say different. Every post don't need a comment. Every pic don't need a like. Everyone don't need an audience. And every open mouth don't need a mic. Say less. Ain't what you know, it's what you do. Let the work you put in be the proof. Say less. You ain't gotta tell me that you're real. In time, everything will be revealed. Say less.
Shout out to Funky DL and Precious Joubert once again.
I'm just trying to give them some game. Don't matter if I yell it, they never hear what I'm saying. Then a stranger roll up and they damn it tell them the same. And they totally forget that I put that shit in their brain.
Sometimes like the people we know will take a stranger's word over ours because of how they perceive us. Most people I've encountered have gone through this or experienced this in some way, shape, or form. I've had this experience like so many times because I consult nowadays. So I'm oftentimes trying to help other artists out. And there's so many times where I've told people certain things to help them with their career and they don't see it. They gotta, go out there and try it themselves and fail and fall. And then they circle back and they'll run back information. A lot of times it's stuff that I already told them and got them hip to a minute ago.
They're too close to the picture, they can't even see the frame. How I brought it together, so I bothered to explain.
This is me using a picture reference to describe and elaborate further on the idea from before, to show how proximity a lot of times factors into how people perceive and hear us, and sometimes makes it harder for them to like really process what we're saying.
Put the plan into action, now my passions turn to gains, and now they circling back so I can help them do the same. Say no more.
It deals with leading by example. And that's really like something I learned at a very young age, right? Like more is caught than taught. So if you want to influence somebody to be better, you got to show them by being an example for them and living that life and really embodying all of that when you go out into the world. Helping yourself oftentimes will help inspire others to lift themselves up. And oftentimes they'll come to you, like when they really see the example that you set, they'll come to you listening a bit closer than they were before, so they can kind of get to either where you are or go beyond that. You know what I mean? So that, again, was Say Less from the project We Met in Tokyo, produced by Funky DL, featuring Precious Joubert. And folks, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. If you got more questions about the song, you could drop me a comment. Also, if you have any suggestions on which song you would like me to break down next, feel free to leave that in the comments as well. And thanks again. And until next time, I'll see you soon. We'll talk to you sooner. Peace, y'all.